So Mid MMA here with my UFC 320 main card predictions along with my logical and very so mid takes. We have a very good main card here, probably the best main card of the year. Very good matchups. We're very excited for it. And let's start it off with Abus Magomedov versus Joe Pyfer. Comparing them by their notable wins, they're both pretty mid. Pretty similar, but pretty mid at the same time. With that being said, though, I'm gonna go with Pyfer winning by decision, and I'll explain why. But first, we'll break down Abus Magomedov, the good stuff. He's a versatile striker, mixes up his strikes well. You know, leg kicks, body kicks, deep kicks, hooks, jabs. He has a whole arsenal. Good finishing ability. The wrestling base is there, you know, being Dagestani. That's typical for them. As you know, the whole freaking UFC is filled with them, unfortunately. Um, Uses reach very well, for sure. Not so good stuff, lacks cardio. As you saw in the Sean Strickland fight, he was doing very well in the first round. Like I said, using his versatility with the strikes, especially the teep kicks. But then he just drained himself and got TKO the second round. Lacks defense, tends to get hit, tends to sacrifice the defense for more offense. Inconsistent rounds, mainly to the cardio. He puts too much heat in his shots. I think that's the main reason why he gets tired, because he's throwing these shots way too hard instead of being more technical and more calculated about it. More of a strategy. On to the so mid takes. The guy's a bus. Like, literally. Like, the same fuel efficiency as a bus. You know? He's a big dude. He's strong. So he needs a lot of fuel. But that fuel goes away real quick because he's doing too much. He's got too much work going on. So, yeah. And also, you know, pretty major not so good stuff. He doesn't get invited to the Dagestan jacuzzi parties. And I know how sad he must be that he doesn't get invited to those. So, sucks to be him. Now, on to the breakdown of Joe Pyfer. The good stuff. He's got power in his hands, powers in his strikes, finish diversity. Very good. We've seen him get finishes by submission and by knockout. Trains with Sean Brady, so you know that grappling, he's getting that grappling work in with Sean Brady, and he's able to mix it up with someone like him. And I'm sure their gym has a lot of versatile guys. I think Petrovsky's part of their gym too. He's a good grappler, so he's definitely getting a lot of grappling repetitions at that gym. Very explosive when it comes to the start. He's right on you, right in the beginning of the bell or the beginning of the round. As you can see, in the Gastelum fight, he knocked him down the first round. You know, he ended up like dropping the output, but I'll get there in a second. Pretty resilient. He's not afraid to go in the fire, go in the pocket. He's not afraid to get dirty, so that's a pretty good thing, especially in this matchup. The not so good stuff. He's pretty green. It could hurt him in this matchup just because Abus has a lot of experience. Not that Abus is that good or anything, but it could be a threat in this matchup. Cardio fades, but I would say it's better than Abus's. I think he has a better, more resistance than Abus. He doesn't have the same shutdown that Abus has. Like, you'll see, like Pyfer will get like slowly more tired, whereas we've seen Abus like he'll be a freaking animal the first round, then the second round he's just dead, and he looks like he works out of Planet Fitness. So that already tells you. That already tells you enough. And tactical matchups, he tends to struggle. Obviously, with Jack Hermanson, it was his first loss of his career. And also, even the Kevin Gastelum fight, even though he won that fight pretty convincingly, you could see he was having difficulty getting reads on Gastelum because Gastelum is, you know, he's a pretty good fighter. He's got good technique. He's very good, and you can see that Pyfer struggled trying to get his timing down later on in the fight. You know, I think literally the only reason why Pyfer beat Gastelum is because of the size difference. He's way bigger than Gastelum. Like I said, like Gastelum is a little fat fuck. So did I say that before? Well, anyway, I'm reminding y'all that he's a fat fuck. All right, so on to the mid takes. Pyfernol here, man. 69 milligrams. Side effects include hard punches and tism, the angry tism. Not really that, not the best tism, honestly, but It works for him. He's a good fighter. He needs a Snickers, man. Like he needs to calm the fuck down. Like sometimes he like sounds like Betty White. He's complaining too much, fucking pissed off all the time. Like, bro, take a chill pill. Have a Snickers, take a bite, go back to your normal self. He's from Philly, so he's probably an Eagles fan. That probably explains the anger. They're just angry people up there. Like good sports, great culture, but like y'all need to chill, man. I can understand why Bilal Muhammad hates you guys. Probably hates him, you know? So, anyway, Joe Pyfer, unanimous decision. I think it's going to be a close fight, but I think Pyfer will pull this off. Next fight on this card, we got Josh Emmett versus Yusuf Zalal. Honestly, this is kind of tough because I could easily see Zalal wins by decision. Emmett tends to struggle against technicians, but Zalal does not do well with fighters that put a lot of pressure. And I'll explain that more in the breakdown. First, starting off with Josh Emmett, Captain Falcon over here. If you ever play Super Smash Bros., you know exactly what I'm talking about. The good stuff, obviously, is right hand. Ask Bryce Mitchell. Yeah, good timing on his strikes, honestly. Believe it or not. Strong chin. He can take a hit. He's 100% a finisher. And he can grapple. He's used his grappling in the past. He's shown that he can mix it up when he has to. It's more of like a plan B type of move that he uses, but it's there. The not so good thing, he's pretty old. He's 40 years old, especially in the featherweight division, does not favor him at all. Telegraphs all his strikes. So for a guy like Zalal's going to see that very easily and take advantage of it. Limited volume. Once again, he's just throwing those big meaty hooks, and he doesn't really mix it up in the striking. I mean, it's mainly just blitzing and hooks, and doesn't really throw like a leg kick or anything or like a body kick. So it's pretty easy for a fighter like Zalal, a fighter like Yair Rodriguez, Lerone Murphy. That's like easy money for them. And on to the so mid takes. Falcon Punch! From Super Smash Bros. Captain Falcon, his signature strike is Falcon Punch. And that's what Josh Emmett does. He's just Falcon Punch, Falcon Punch. That's all he does, literally. But if he lands that Falcon Punch, you're going to be talking about how there's lizard people out there like Bryce Mitchell. So you can't sleep on him. He's got too much derp strength for his own good. And like I said about Bryce Mitchell, now he's talking about lizard people after that KO. So on to You So Effing Boring, Zalal. His good stuff, switch of stances, very versatile in the striking, as you've seen, leg kicks, body kicks, jabs, etc. Good cardio. His style, you need good cardio. It's very boring, but we'll give him that. Very accurate striking, very technical. The not so good stuff, struggles against pressure, which Emmett has an opportunity to do so. And if he can get him against the fence and grab him, he will get overpowered because he's not that strong. He's not that big. Obviously, featherweights are not that big overall, but like compared to Emmett's a unit compared to this dude. So, and that could hurt him in a narrow decision. If the fight is close, that could be some trouble for Yusuf on the scorecards. And who knows with these judges these days? He relies on setups, like the feints, the fakes. If that's not going well for him, it's not going to be a good night for him because that's how he gets his striking going. So if Emmett can somehow eliminate the setups, this could look good for Emmett. But on to the so mid stakes, we got the dude is literally a component of melatonin. Like if you have trouble sleeping, just watch this guy fight. Yeah, this fight's probably gonna be so boring. Emmett's gonna fall asleep. He's gonna get TKO just because Emmett was so bored. He just decided to take a nap. You already know Joe Rogan's gonna praise it. He's gonna be like, "Wow, such technique," while everyone in the fucking arena is asleep or on their phones. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Zalal on this one. I think unfortunately it's an easy pick. Just a bad matchup for Emmett, and based on his age, I don't think it's gonna go well for him. So Yusuf Zalal it is. Now on to probably the best fight on the card, the most exciting fight on the card. We got Yuri Prochaska versus Khalil Roundtree. Clearly, Yuri has the better strength of schedule and wins. Honestly, I think this is an easy pick. I think Yuri will win by KO in the third round. As you can see, those notable wins you cannot compare. You got Jamal Hill. I mean, Roundtree just beat Jamal Hill, but this man knocked him out. You got Rakic. You got Teixeira. You got Reyes. You can't compare, man. But on to the breakdowns for Yuri. Good stuff, obviously. Great finishing power. Obvious, even more obvious. Very unpredictable. You don't know what he's gonna throw, what angle he's gonna throw. This man will hit you with his armpit, and you're gonna have to sniff it like a man. Pause. Durable. Can take a shot, unless you're Alex Pereira. And embraces the chaos. He loves the chaos. He loves the scrambles. He loves those moments where usually people choke. That moment, those moments, Yuri thrives in. And he has improved his defense, as you can see in the Jamal Hill fight. If that defense is consistent, this is a very, very dangerous Yuri that we're looking at. And I think this Yuri could beat anyone. I think this Yuri could even beat Magomed Ankalaev. But let's hope that defense stays the same. Not so good stuff. Leaves openings, obviously, hands down all the time. Gets hit. Never goes to the distance, which has been favoring him most of the time. But, the reason why it's not so good is that he's either going to get knockout or get knocked out. So, yeah. But on to the so mid takes with Samurai Pojaxa. This dude said, this dude definitely sat in his cabin for a straight month. He's locked in for this shit. He was watching Samurai Jack and his defense bumped up by 1,000. As you can see, obviously that's what helped him. And another result from that is that he went from basic TISM to the premium TISM package plan. He's in the form of TISM that makes you successful, like a Elon Musk or like a Mark Zuckerberg. I don't know if Mark Zuckerberg has the TISM, but he definitely sounds like it sometimes and looks like it. But you get the point. He has the type of TISM that makes you very successful in life. And that is a very dangerous thing in fighting, obviously. Now on to Khalil Roundtree's breakdown. The good stuff. Volume-based power. He's not really like a one-shot KO guy, but he puts it on you with his volume. And his volume, his hits, they do have some heat in it. He's very explosive, loves to fight in the pocket, which is a good strategy against Yuri. You're gonna have to get dirty in this fight. He manages adversity pretty well. We've seen it in the past, obviously with Alex Pereira. His Muay Thai is very elite. Leg kicks brutal, body kicks brutal. He can mix it up pretty well. That Muay Thai really favors him in a lot of these matchups, and it could favor him in this matchup with the leg kicks against Yuri. But Yuri's just a freaking crazy enigma. Not so good stuff. Can lack defense. He kind of trades the offense. He trades the defense for more offense. Stamina drops throughout the fight while he's under pressure, as we saw with Alex Pereira. He can struggle against strikers that mix up the angles, that can grapple, which is actually a threat that Yuri could put on him. He could. So this is really, really, really tough matchup for Khalil Roundtree, whatever that fucking Pokemon is. I had to Google that one. But anyway, this fucking tree throws branches, son. So you better watch out, dude. You take a fucking branch to the fucking eyeball. Used to look like Cleveland Brown Jr. My name is Cleveland Brown. Yeah, so he's got a lot of inner anger. I mean, he's talked about his past and how he didn't like being fat and stuff. Well, I don't think anyone likes being fat. I would hope. Yeah, he's into some like weird sus cult stuff. Yeah, whatever. Who cares? I'm going Yuri. Going Yuri by third round knockout. I think Khalil is durable. I think he'll be able to take some shots, but I think he's gonna break him down in the third round. Kind of similar style to like Pereira, just slowly breaking him down, and then boom, one big shot, and he's on the floor sleeping. So I'm gonna go Yuri. Now on to the co-main event. We got the champion, everyone's favorite, adorable little goblin. Well, he's not really adorable. He's kind of ugly, but his vibes are kind of adorable. Well, anyway, Marab versus Corey Sandhagen. Easy pick here. I'm going with Marab. Marab has dominated everyone. Look at those notable wins. Sean O'Malley twice. Umar, Henry Cejudo, Peter Yan. You can't even compare it to Corey Sandhagen. And I don't think this win for Marab will be as dominant as the other ones, but it'll still be relatively dominant. I just think there's going to be slightly more adversity just because Corey has more tools in his bag. Especially like the height. Well, Sean O'Malley had the height, but Corey has the striking, the technicality, the grappling, the jiu-jitsu threat. So I think there'll be more adversity. I think Corey in the beginning might land some jabs, some nice shots, but Rob is going to keep pushing forward, pushing forward. He's going to take him down. Corey's going to get up. Marab's going to take him down. Corey's going to get up. And I think we're going to see more scrambles, but I think at the end of the day, we're going to see Marab getting this one done. But first, after I give you my specific prediction, we'll break down Corey. We'll break down Marab first. Short King Marab the third. Good stuff. Obviously, I don't even have to talk about this. Like, you already know what he's good at. Like, it's his cardio, his takedown volume. It's just nonstop. You've seen it over and over and over again. I don't even have to break it down that much. Not so good stuff. Doesn't really matter. Obviously, doesn't really hasn't really affected in any of his past fights. No power, mid striking skills. But with that being said, Marab's coach has been saying that he's been developing his game overall, especially his submission game. So we're going to see more versatility in that sense. We saw with Sean O'Malley the second fight, he submitted him with a choke that he made up, I think. Like, I don't even think there's a name for that one. But yeah, who knows, man? Who knows? Maybe he's developed striking too. Like if you watch the Demetrius Johnson training video with Marab doesn't really do like any drills or anything like that. He just kind of just goes live. Just live sparring, live grappling. That's all he does, just nonstop. But now he's finally to do drills and trying to develop more skills. So that is very scary. A dude that hasn't developed other skills in his game, like, in his whole career, like the submissions and the knockout power, the striking. And now he's starting to learn to do it after he's a dominant champion, has multiple defenses. That's crazy. Well, sorry, one defense, but multiple dominant performances. That is scary. That is crazy to think about. Yeah, man, this little goblin could be the GOAT. Gets his win. He can arguably be the bantamweight GOAT. And we'll see how they match him up after the Corey fight, but he could bump up the ladder in the pound for pound GOAT. We'll see, man. He's doing something very special, and we should appreciate it. He's officially the king of the short kings, man. Al just butt buddy is, and he probably came from Narnia, dude. Like Ray Longo, Matt Sarabo. They saw this dude, like, they went into that wardrobe for whatever reason. I don't know what their intentions were. Two men in a wardrobe, but whether it was intentionally going to Narnia or they accidentally fell into Narnia, like in the movie, they went in there and they saw Marab this goblin just pressing giant logs. Just fucking, hey, look at me. Hey. And that's where it started, man. That's the true story. I don't care the story that, what was it, Dana and Matt Sarah tell you how they found him. I think they showed it on the show, how they found him in looking for a fight. Nah. This dude came from fucking Narnia, bro. I don't care what they say. But anyway, on to Corey. Jesus. Genghis Sanhegkon. The story behind this name is because he read The Art of War, and he's he talks about it a lot. The Art of War. Whatever. That ain't gonna help you in this matchup, brother. But let's give him his flowers where they're due. Good stuff, versatile striking, good footwork, switch of stances, grappling, finishing ability is great. Overall, really good fighter. Not so good stuff, takedown defense with Umar. You saw that in that matchup. He makes some grappling mistakes in the scrambles. Gaston can fade, especially facing a guy like Umar, and 100% facing a guy like Marab. So yeah, that's why my hopes for him are not that high in this matchup. And also a big issue that he has is he analyzes fights too much and he ends up doing nothing. He does very little. Where they call it paralysis over analysis. Um, whereas like Marab is the opposite. Marab literally just doesn't think. He just goes pure instinct and goes straight at you. So you cannot have that approach against Marab. You got to make it dirty and you got to make it scrappy. You got to do something that the other people haven't done. So that's all I got for Corey in terms of advice. Well, in other words, the advice is drop the fucking test tubes, dude, and fight. You fucking nerd. And yeah, mainly because Marab doesn't believe in science. So, but anyway, I don't think it matters. I'm gonna go with Marab here. Honestly, no one's really saying it, but I'm gonna go Marab TKO. TKO, third round. No, second round. Why not? Marab TKO, second round. He's gonna show everybody he has more tools in the toolbox. Now on to the main event. I had to go punt my dog 60 yards. She's being annoying. But anyway, on to the main event. We got Magomed Ankalaev versus Alex Pereira 2, their rematch. I'm very excited for this matchup, despite the lackluster first fight. It was pretty brutal, pretty sad to see Chama in that position. But I truly think he wasn't himself that fight. Like, as soon as he went on the walkout, I knew that something was wrong. He looked flat. He didn't look the same. He was very flat-footed during most of the fight. It was, I think it was pretty clear that he wasn't focused enough and he was also hurt. I'm not saying that's like a guarantee that Pereira's going to win this time, but that is a big thing to think about. Um, Despite that, though, Magomed and Ankalaev's skills, I think, regardless, could be too much for Pereira. It could be. I'm not saying it will be, but it could be too much for Pereira. He's very skillful, you know, very versatile. Um, you know, and he does the way he beat Alex, very technical, kind of like bring it to decision, not that entertaining. He kind of does that in most of his wins with Krylov, Thiago Santos. I put Jan Blachowicz, even though it was a draw, I'm pretty sure he won that one. I think most people agree. He did with Rakic, and then obviously now he did with Pereira. Um, Yeah, the UFC really needs Pereira to win this because he's more marketable. He's their star. If they lose Pereira, they could be in trouble for a little bit. Because Ankalaev is not marketable at all. He lives in the mountains and he trains up there. He doesn't speak English. That's all they got. You know what I mean? Like, geez, man. The most marketable thing that he has is having Islam's arm cropped it up to your photo like everybody else. That's the most marketable thing he has, and that's not even marketable. So yeah. I'll give my prediction after the breakdowns. So we're gonna start off with Ankalaev here. On his good stuff, obviously his grappling, he uses it when he has to, when he needs to. Very effective with it. He wasn't able to get Alex down, but he was able to use extended grappling, the clinch. Striking, measures it very well. Very good counters, very good timing. Very very underrated quality that he has. He has the ability to reset. He can take a breath, take a step back, reset his striking, start again if he doesn't get what he wants. Which is a big big factor or big key to being a good technical fighter. And that gives guys trouble. And his ability to adapt, to mix it up when he has to. He adapts to the situation, and that's why he's able to get you know rack up a lot of wins against great fighters. Not in the most entertaining way, but gets the job done. The not so good stuff, vulnerable to low kicks. In the beginning of the first Pereira fight, you could see that was affecting him a little bit, even though it was a southpaw matchup. It was affecting him a little bit, but not that much. It's due to the stance situation. Usually, when you're fighting a southpaw, um, those lead leg kicks are not going to be as effective. He could be overly cautious, as you can see in most of his fights. The Jan fight, he was kind of cautious there, which probably led him to a draw. The last fight that he had with Pereira, you could clearly see he was being very cautious. I feel like he could have cranked it up a little. I honestly think he could have cranked it up a little more and finished Alex that fight because Alex had nothing that night. But now it's going to be a lot tougher in the second fight, in my opinion. Yeah. And that being said, it relies on tight decision. Sometimes when you're overly cautious, you can get, can guarantee you a win at times, but too much caution can lead you to a very, very tight decision, to a split decision. So if Alex is able to do a little bit more, cause a little bit of damage, and if he doesn't finish him there, he does a little bit more, he might get a decision in the second fight. The first fight, if he were to do a little bit more, if he were to have a few more strikes, he would have had it, in my opinion. I think easily 5 or 10 significant more strikes, and I think Alex would retain, and we wouldn't be talking about this right now. Man, how nice is that other universe, huh? Alternate universe where Alex is not fighting this boring ass dude again. Whatever. All right. So the mid takes for Magomed bot. Fuck him. I really don't want him to win, dude. He's such a bot, bro. Like the Dagestanis, like they're all the same. Most of them are the same. They're just bots, dude. I'm convinced they're bots. Like, bro, he has like no personality, like no marketable like key factors to him. Nothing interesting about him, really. Fucking just tweets out fucking random shit. Just sounds like it's fucking generated, AI generated. His face is killing viewerships, man. He's not the prettiest either, man. Like, look at that nose, dude. Looks like fucking Dagestani grew from Despicable Me. Yeah, I wish he was as entertaining. Their minions are probably boring too. They're like, bleh, banana, Yeah, man. Not the most entertaining. And, bro, someone please put parental controls on Ali's phone or keep Ali away from Magomed's phone. However, it's working out. Just keep him away, dude. Like, we know that's not him, like, fucking talking the shit. Like, Magomed doesn't even do it in person, like, with a translator. Like, they had an altercation, and he didn't want to talk shit there. He didn't want to like say anything. So that just shows you that it's probably not him, behind the screen. So, well, anyway, on to the more interesting fighter. Alex Pereira's good stuff. Elite power, obviously. He's actually pretty accurate with his striking. Great distance control. Takedown defense is really good. He showed it in the last fight. He didn't get taken down, and his mental composure is great. Not so good stuff. The extended grappling, like I said before, the clinching. Magomed took advantage of that. He can also be overcautious. Last fight, I don't think it was an overcautious thing. Actually, when it could have been a little bit after he got rocked in the second round, a little bit of being overcautious there. I guess he was afraid a little afraid to get knocked out by against someone where you think you're the better striker. I get it, especially if it's not your night. You probably accept the defeat at that point. I'm not condoning that, but I don't know. That's what he really thought, but that's what it looked like for a sec. Defense could be iffy. He he kind of stands pretty straight tall. That makes him vulnerable to certain shots. Um, Volume is not that high. He always focuses on power, and he gets countered as we saw in the last fight. And the mid takes, man. So mid takes. We need the old Tism Chama back. We need the Pereira that would barely say anything other than Chama. Like back in the Izzy days, he would just be like, oh, Chama. Like, oh, so Pereira, Alex, what do you think about your matchup? Chama. Or even like fucking Nina Drama, what's your favorite food? Chama. You know? We need that back. Now he's saying too many things. He's saying chama and then like speaking Brazilian, saying a bunch of different words. Chama, chama, and then everyone's like chama. He needs to go back to his roots, where he had a little bit of more tism, you know? Just say chama, nothing else. And we need a less goon version. Because I truly believe with a less goon version of Shama, I think we can take this guy out. The last fight, Ankalaev did nothing, and I really think he has a good chance in the second fight. And I think Izzy, just like in like the animes and like the movies, like the old foe comes back and helps him. I think Izzy's gonna be like, I mean, Izzy's still around, but like I think he's gonna pop up like the kid from the Sixth Sense and kind of just like guide Pereira to a victory. You know, as you can see there, I put M Night Shyamalan. You know how long it took me to fucking come up with that shit? I couldn't come up with something. I always have a thing for fighters, but this was actually a tough one because like a lot of people have used different things. You know, you got the Easter Island statue thing. Yeah, but M Night Shyamalan, that's pretty good, dude. And I did a good job editing his face there. So yeah, but Izzy's gonna go up to his ear and be like, "Shama, you know what to do. Woof 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 woof." You know, of course, Izzy has a dog because he has a little problem there. Very controversial in most places, I would hope. But anyway, finally, the last thing is, Pereira, you're our only hope. You're our last hope. If you lose this, the UFC might be in trouble. I know we have Taporia, but you're the main guy right now. We really need you. We really need you to win because if Ankalaev wins this again, the division is cooked. The UFC might be cooked. So please, the world is in your hands. I think most UFC fighters are rooting for you. The ones that are not rooting for you, they're just the losers that like to watch boring fights and they just support uh, the Dagestani fighters. They're not even like real fight fans. They just show up to watch them fight. So yeah, don't let them ruin it for all of us. So please, Chama, win this. I think you're gonna win. I think you're gonna get it done. I'm gonna go with second round TKO. Actually, no. Second round KO. Shock the world. Please do it. Please follow me on TikTok at SoMidMMA. Have a great day. Also forgot a big part. Please like and subscribe to my page. Thank you.